Okay, so the design I'll be looking at today is a certified rude boy. Well, not exactly, but I needed a pun to start off the video, and most rude puns were already taken. Rhude Villaseñor was born the 15th of August 1992 in the Philippines and moved to America when he was 9 years old. That was 2001, I believe. Yeah, he's Asian. But why does he have a Spanish name? Well, because... how to put it? Colonization. He grew up with both parents, mother a tailor, father an architect. Remember this. Remember it. Remember it. It'll be important later on. His family moved to Winteca in 2001 with his two other siblings. Growing up in LA meant that Rhude would constantly be exposed to street fashion and hip-hop culture. In an interview, he recalled being fascinated when he was first exposed to American culture and recalled that he had a fear of not understanding something, so he did a lot of research to become familiar with the knowledge. Personally, I could somewhat relate to what he's speaking about because since I'm not from America or Europe or Japan, I try to do as much research as I can before I make every video, so I don't seem like an uneducated monkey, because in reality, he soon became enveloped within the youth fashion community, forming an early teenage relationship with persons like Matthew Henson, Aleli May. The first professional step that he made towards a career in fashion was interning under Sean Sampson, who at the time was working under Kim Jones. Rhude was eventually opened in 2013. In his early stages, Rhude was influenced by brands such as Versace, Jill Sander, Gucci, and all of these pieces he picked up through thrifting. The act of thrifting itself would then play a fundamental role in Rhude's finding of his identity and, well, the finding of Rhude's identity. And being from a household where his mother was a tailor meant that he learned the fundamentals of sewing and pattern making at home. He even recalled getting into fashion due to a family necessity rather than an innate passion. Starting off, Rhude was, for a lack of better words, a t-shirt and hoodie brand. It wasn't ass like Antisocial Social Club, or for short what I call it, ass, but at the same time it wasn't Rei Kawakubo. It was simple vintage hoodies and vintage t-shirts. Over time, however, he grew his collection and talents to cut and sew pieces. Like many other fashion brands that originate from the US, celebrity endorsement is a major catalyst towards mainstream success. Rhude's first celebrity purchase was from Kendrick Lamar. Or well, I believe it was Kendrick Lamar's stylist, who then styled him in the bandana top for the 2012 BET Awards. Rhude took a giant leap towards success that night after Kendrick's Rhude performance, or Rhude awakening, Rhude appearance, I don't know, all of them was ass. Rhude's garment were then seen on a number of celebrities including rappers and NBA players. Safe to say, Rhude became a staple name within the American fashion community. His peers from his age also grew into influential people, where Matthew Henson now became a stylist for A$AP Rocky and Aleli May became a designer, a host and an influencer. Rhude is a ready-made brand and its aesthetic is heavily revolved around vintage Americana, grunge, some punk rock elements, and a mixture of street unlocks. Some of his more notable pieces are the overpriced vintage inspiration tees, and believe me, when I say overpriced for a vintage tee, I mean overpriced. The backbone of this brand, basically the bread and butter of his brand, was the vintage tees. Then there was the cargos, there was the tuxedo pants, a combination of track pants and tuxedo pants, leather pants and original sneakers, and Marlboro cigarettes. Okay, so while doing my due diligence and reading articles and interviews about Rhude and, well, Rhude, I came across an interview where Rhude made an observation that cigarettes haven't been cool since the 80s, and part of the reason for his collaboration with Marlboro was to change that. And I'll say, okay, now we good. There's a reason cigarettes aren't cool anymore. It's not hard to figure out, like stained teeth, bad odor, yellowing of eyes, a common cold call, what's the name of it, like lung cancer or something like that, and erectile dysfunction. All plausible reasons to leave cigarettes in the 80s where it belongs. Within his collection of pieces, I could definitely see inspirations from Fear of God in the extended drawstrings, the vintage inspiration, and the snap additions to the cargoes. Additionally, the brand has branched off into wooden furniture. Rhude is not the first fashion brand we've seen to dabble within furniture, but his pieces are appealing, at least to me. It seems mad uncomfortable though, like mad uncomfortable, but it's still appealing. Particularly his benches remind me of a dark time sitting on uncomfortable benches in primary school. If you're from the Caribbean, you know the stiff long wooden benches I'm referring to. It also reminds me of church benches. 2 times in my life where I was forced to sit and beaten if I've fallen asleep. Good times. I like the benches though, like don't get me wrong. Even though I was making fun of Van Kixen on the cigarette collab, as peculiar as it is, and there's nothing cool about dysfunctional wee-wees, it's a commendable way to pave an individual identity for your brand, associating it with things that no one else is necessarily associating themselves with, even if it is cigarettes in this instance. I also like the attempt at creating original shoes from scratch. Even though it's not like the most revolutionary sneakers we've seen, I like the idea of creating it completely from scratch without a collaboration or anything like that. I appreciate the initiative that he took. Asians typically excel in taking American culture and presenting it in a fresh aesthetic, and this can be seen within Rhude. Even though with Rhude it is different. It differs because he actually grew up in America, and the garments he presented are a reflection of what he grew up doing, whether it be thrifting, skateboarding, or playing basketball. Currently, as I am making this video, he is doing his second show in Paris, and it is, in all honesty, it is a commendable act because he started off making graphic tees and hoodies, and now he's doing cut and sew pieces in Paris. So, you know, clap to him, clap to that guy, you know, like, congrats to you. Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of about it. That's all I have for Rhude. Rhude isn't a super old brand. It was started in 2013. It's about what? Do the maths. 7 years old, not even 7 yet, going to be 7 years old, and that's kind of about it. My throat is dry as well, but I'm done with the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah.